morning, everybody. Just living here on Sunday. We're headed to Mobile, Alabama and Biloxi, Mississippi to check out some old sites and a really cool battleship. Here at Battleship Park in Mobile, Alabama, we're gonna go check out the USS Alabama battleship. Here we have an Amtrak. It's used by the U.S. Marines, was during World War II, to sort of as an amphibious assault vehicle. This is one of the cannons that was used on the U.S. Alabama. We're going to go on it in just a minute. This is a 5-inch 38 caliber gun. Heading out here to the pier. On the sidewalk on either side, they've got some rounds that they have placed as kind of borders. Pretty cool. Okay, so out here on the pier, going to show you the USS Alabama in just a minute. I just wanted to point out that having been in the military, it's very surreal. This guy fought for us. It fought for freedom. It helped end World War II. And to just walk on the deck, which we're going to do here in a minute, I really encourage you, if you get an opportunity out here in Mobile, Alabama, if you're anywhere near the area, to come and check this guy out. Because to walk on the deck where all of these sailors did, where all of these people lived and worked and fought and bled and died, it is really something, and good learning opportunity, especially if you have kids, to teach them about World War II. So if you're in the area, I highly suggest you come and check it out. We're here in the middle of August and it's not actually that hot. I have been here in August before and it was very, very hot. Give you a outside shot here. Over here, just as you're approaching the battleship, you can look off to your right, and there's Mobile, Alabama. Another thing to point out at this park is it's got a lot more than just the battleship and the submarine. There's a lot of old World War II aircraft, amphibious vehicles, tanks, that kind of thing. Got a couple of tanks here I wanted to show off. This is the M60, which was a sort of the main battle tank that the U.S. had during World War II. And the M26, so little brother. That little bird up there is taking up shop. He has claimed this cannon as his own. This guy, where the bird's taking up shop up there, is a 155 millimeter artillery gun known as Long Tom. Its maximum range is 14.5 miles. Got a C-47D Skytrain. All of us have seen this aircraft in old World War II movies. Over here we've got one of the propellers from the battleship, and just to give you some context, I'm going to put my hand down here. It's quite large. Got the bell for the USS Alabama, 1942, when it was commissioned. Here inside the gift shop there is a few neat items. They've got some t-shirts for the submarine. It's the USS Drum, and the battleship, the Alabama. Lots of pictures, gifts, typical postcards, magnets. It's a map of the USS Drum and the Alabama. Fixing to go on those. I've got a snack shop back here in the back. Fixing to go on the ship. Just wanted to do a quick kind of panoramic of the outside. USS Alabama was launched on August 16th, 1942, or commissioned, I should say. So we're about 1 month away here from its birthday. It's another one of the props right outside the ship. Got the gangway bridge right here off to your right as you walk out of the gift shop that takes you right on the ship. We are walking on board the ship. They've got a little welcome aboard sign here. And look at this wood deck. How old it must be. Look at all of these patches it's got. We'll start at the back of the ship and work our way forward. One thing that's unique about this experience is they let you go anywhere on this ship. You can go up and put your hands around the machine guns, you can crawl all the way to the back, you can go through all the little cubby holes, crawl up in the main turrets. Really neat. So the deck just changed from wood to metal. Over here on the rear we have the 40mm guns. But look at this, I'm right up here. I can touch it and I can stick around as long as I want. It's really an amazing experience. Over here on the starboard side of the ship, looks like what they've got here, I think, as a rail so that it can launch airplanes. We are at the back of the ship and we're looking forward. You can see the massive rear turret here. It's got one in the rear and two in the front. Now we're going to make our way towards the front. Here they've got a plaque outside the rear turret, and it shows you the battle history of the USS Alabama. Plaque here on the front of the turret talking about all the different times the battleship was painted to camouflage her from the particular enemy they were going after. You imagine that job, painting this entire battleship just to go after one enemy. Front of the turret, so this is the rear turret, so the cannons are on the back. Just want to show you the rear hatch, and that's how you get in and out. So hopefully the lighting in here is good enough. We crawled inside that rear turret. Like I said, the Alabama Memorial Park, they let you go in all of these different crevices. It is very hot in here though.
Be careful, like sunglasses in here.
Don't come out yet. Oh, is that what dropped? Getting a little. Yeah, I'm getting warm. Oh, maybe I should stop breathing.
You can look in, so this is the bottom of that, one of the cannons on the rear turret, and you can see down there where the shell is loaded into it and how this is just behind some pretty thick glass and steel, no doubt to help dampen the noise. Over here they have an access hatch where you can crawl through and look down where they load the shell. I crawled inside that little port hatch. Hope you guys can see it. It looks pretty dark in here. I just wanted to get a better picture down here where you can see those rounds were lowered down into that chamber there. The hatch opens up and then they would drop them down inside there. So on the main deck here, we're walking down the port side towards the front of the ship. A quick view of all of the different port hatches, and we'll go inside the ship in just a minute. The ship is just huge. Looking at it from the outside just doesn't do it justice. Here are the two forward turrets. Like I said, you can crawl up inside everything. This forward turret even has its hatches open. You can hurl 24,300 pounds of steel every 30 seconds. The range on these guys is 21 miles. 25,000 pounds of metal. They've installed some air conditioning, so there are some compartments down below where you can get a little bit of relief from the heat. But rest assured, our sailors didn't have that luxury. Look at the size of this anchor chain. This is just incredible. Here we are at the front. Got a couple of holes where you can look down, get a better view without having to lean over. And then there she is, looking from the front of the ship towards the rear. can see on the side of the turrets where they've got some mirrors and lenses. Maybe they use them to view, make sure that there's nobody on deck before they fire. Here we've got an outside shot of the bridge. We'll try to head up there and see what it looks like. During one of the port holes on the starboard side of the ship, you'll see these beams. They're painted yellow now all throughout the ship, and this is how they were able to transport some of those heavy weapons or just anything, raw steel, to repair the ship. They had to use these beams because they were just simply too heavy for men to carry. We have an officer's stateroom. They've got it all dressed up and made to look like it did at the time. They do have some bathrooms inside here if you need to make use of them. Looks like the main area where they congregated and ate or had their ship meetings. Steven Seagal filmed Under Siege on this ship. All of the galley scenes were shot, or galley, I didn't mean galley. All of the dancing and when they had the lady come out of the cake, that was here in this galley. Although the ship, the movie was about the USS Missouri, which is very similar to this ship. It was actually filmed on this ship. Mentioning earlier about Under Siege, they've got a video of that here, and there were actually several movies which I did not know about, which were filmed on the Alabama. One of them being the USS Indianapolis Men of Courage. We've got a theater right back there where you can watch. The stairs here, they are very, very steep. A lot of people are coming down them backwards. Boy, what I wouldn't give to have one of those old sailors give me a tour of this thing. Some of the crew of the USS Alabama, looks like. All gone now. Got a shot in here of the captain's cabin where they would have, meals with the senior officers. And then right off to the side, there's the actual cabin where he slept. Not nearly as luxurious as you would think. Here we have the chaplain's quarters. We've got a mannequin in there. It's kind of interesting that it is right down the hall from the captain's quarters. I don't even know what deck I'm on. It looks like I have two above the main. They've got the hatches open even on these smaller cannons. You can go inside and check them out. But we are trying to make it to the bridge, so maybe we'll go from the outside here. Great shot there showing you how steep these stairs are. Looks like we're getting close. I'm going to make a round to the front here and see what this deck has to offer. In here, looks like we have the mapping room. I'm not sure how well you're going to be. Here is another shot of the mapping room. They do have this closed off so you can't go inside it. And here we are, the main bridge here, I think. Boy, that door is really heavy. Maybe not, but this is where they steer the ship. I'll show you how thick these walls are. It's exactly like a safe. You get locked up in there, and they've got little holes there that you can look out, but the metal just looks extremely thick. We Here we have what's called the captain's sea cabin. So he could sleep right here and then rush right onto the battle bridge. 16 inches thick this steel is. Incredible. Just in front of the battle bridge, we've got the navigation bridge. Not nearly as protected. A quick look inside one of these smaller cannon chambers. Not nearly as impressive as the main turrets, but I'm sure it's still got quite hot inside there. Just coming out of the visitor center slash gift shop. Off to your right there, where we've got the gangway that goes up to the battleship, they have a sidewalk that's going to take you through a hangar with a bunch of old planes that we're going to take a look at in the aircraft pavilion, and it's also the way to the USS Drum. So they offer to take a picture of you right when you walk in, and they put it up against the battleship in various scenes, so that's kind of cool. A lot of mannequins and staged planes and ambulances. Very cool. All of the planes are roped off, but I've been here several times, and if you tell them you're in the military, they let you go behind and actually touch the plane. So this is an F-16 Alpha. And we have a Blackbird and an F-15 Eagle. Submarine fighter jets, Navy fighter jets. This Blackbird is really interesting. The outer hull actually expands, goes faster and faster, and that was one of the design problems they had on it. Here it's talking about the destruct system. Here they've got an engine of some kind. This is new. Wonder what this is from. Turbojet J58. They've got a flight simulator back there in the back that I heard is quite good. I've never actually been on it. There's a model of the USS Drum. So the USS Drum has quite a few more battle stars than the USS Alabama. It was commissioned in 1941 on November 1st. She is 311 feet, almost 312 feet long. They've got some memorials for sailors of submarines. There it is, the top deck. Due to time constraints, I'm just gonna fly through this submarine and leave the camera on. Tour entrance is off to the right. When you're done with the tour and you come out of the submarine, you're gonna come out back here. Metal deck on top. You can see down below a secondary deck. Machine gun up top. You can see the two periscopes. Poles up there. Various RF equipment. Another man gun. A lot of people are surprised to see these man guns on the outside of the ship, but submarines spend quite a bit of time above water too. They've got to replenish their air supply and give some people the time to come out on the main deck instead of being stuck in a tin can for months at a time. So just like on the Alabama, the stairs are steep. A lot of people going down backwards. And here we have the aft torpedo room.
They close this.
Mark 14 torpedo. I was surprised the first time I saw one at how big they actually are. Over here we've got a shower. There's warning signs all over the place not to try and remove anything or there's going to be a massive fine, so man, solid. In here we have the place where they probably did all of the dishes and served the officers. Looks like this is the officers' dining area. And the officers' stateroom. There were 7 officers on this ship, and due to size limitations, they had to share a room. This is the captain's room. There were 65 enlisted men that served on this ship, which you're really going to have a hard time believing when you walk through it because very tight quarters. Got 5 bunks in here, a few little places for shelving, and then a wardrobe that I guess everybody had to use. There's a sink up front. Kind of like the Alabama, not nearly as strong, but you can still smell the grease and oil in here. Here it looks like we've got engineering. The main bridge where they steered and controlled the ship. Got another deck down below, one small one above. All the breakers. Breakers and power were a big deal on a submarine because they had to turn the engines off when they were being chased by enemies to silence themselves. So they had to run off of just battery power. Here we have the cook. Looks pretty good. And this looks to be the biggest room so far. Bet a lot of people hanged out here at night.
I'll take some of that.
Got a hatch to go up top. Back here we've got many bunks. Looks like the Alabama, they've installed some air conditioning so that we can actually survive down here. How those boys did, I have no idea. A lot of beds and lockers, uniforms, and that's it. There's the exit sign back here, so it looks like done. We got a little laundry room back here. And in here we've got the 2 engines. Manufactured in Chicago. Engine air intake silencer. You don't want to be heard when you're in a submarine. Look at this exhaust pipe coming from the bottom of the engine.
Really much. And I said, oh,
A lot of valves. Got a couple of diesel engines that you can look down in. Some more intake silencers. Again, these doors are just so thick. More electric breakers. Must be the four forward torpedo tubes.
So either way, you're still gonna get it.
Okay, so that was the USS Drum. Impressive ship, a lot bigger on the inside than it looks. Felt like we were walking down a long hallway forever. So heading back up the gangway here to the Alabama. Met up with my buds and they said I have about 15 more minutes. It'll take me 5 or 10 to crawl down to the bottom, so I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to get for you guys. The main tour entrance, and we're going to take this first ladder down. Again, very steep, you got to be very careful or you will fall and hit your head. Boy, if you fall on one of these two, it's going to be a trip to the hospital. And here we have the engineer's office. Here it looks like we've got some kind of bakery, some pizza ovens there. One of the things that you'll really be amazed when you come on this ship is how self-sufficient it is, and I hope to be able to capture some of that. But they have a tooling department, a fabrication department. They can just build and do just about anything on this ship. So the main galley where they make all of their food, they have it staged is what it might look like on a normal day operating out at sea. Food for somebody on a ship is a big thing. They look forward to it, and it really increases morale, and so they tried to do as good a job as they could with the resources that they have. Outside of this area where you pick up your food, they've got the one stools that the sailors sat on and ate. Everything's stainless steel, easy to clean. Here we have the pressing shop. So you would take your uniform down in here and they would press it for you. In here we have the washroom for all of the dishes. This is not a job that I would pick given the opportunity. I imagine they rotated it out. I don't know that they had an official dishwasher. I don't know, something to look up. It's nice and cool down here at this level with all of the air conditioning. Rest assured this was not the case.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, amazing.
What gets me is if it's a fire station, it had a fire truck. It had
Here they've got an
Unless it's down.
ice cream booth.
I don't know, but anyway.
It's incredible.
They actually found the key.
So it's a soda shop
Nobody gets there.
where they made ice cream and sodas, and that had to really help with morale. Down here we have the crew berthing area. There are 2,200 enlisted men, 127 officers on the USS Alabama, and they had to sleep somewhere. Chief Petty Officer mess. There were 53 Chief Petty Officers, and they had 1 cook and 5 mess attendants. So back here is the kitchen for the Chief Petty Officers. Here we have the ship's store. Get everything from cigarettes to candy to gum, cigars, razors, shaving equipment. They've got a cool little memorial in here of the 1942 crew of the USS Alabama. All of their names, no rank. So we're one level beneath the main deck. We're gonna go down one more, and that's about all we're gonna have time for, I think. Some more crew sleep area. In here we've got some areas that are fixed up. You'll notice as you go down a little bit on the ship, you've got to step up quite a bit more to get through the portholes because the chances of water reaching that level has increased. And here we have the bathroom for the crew. So back in there we've got the sinks, urinals, and the toilets. As you can see, there is just a trough where everything goes. In here we've got the photo dark room and the print shop. So like I said, this ship really does have everything. If you think about it, photographs were important back then to identify enemy vessels and take surveillance. Receiving room over here and the main laundry room over here. So during their ship duties they had absolutely no time to do laundry, so they had people that did that exclusively. In here we have the barber shop. We have the main brig. Looks like they've got room for 5 separate cells, but I imagine they could pair them up if they had to. One of the pantries just off the main galley. And the master at arms. It's called Jimmy Legs. He was the ship's chief of police. Right now, we have a butcher shop, vegetable prep room. You get a better shot of it in there. And we have a machine shop. If I back away, you can get a better view of it. Well, that's it. I am out of time. I apologize, I didn't get a chance to show any of the engine rooms or some of the cool navigation rooms on this ship. Honestly, I think it would take another hour and a half. So if you do stop by here, kind of plan for about 3 hours to really get a tour of the entire ship.
It's pretty cool. Cool, dude.
Until next time, keep on living intentionally.